One, two. All right, if I may have your attention, please, I will ask you to take a seat at this time. They're taking photos of me. Better adjust my tie. Okay, good evening, everyone. Not a good evening? Thank you very much. All right, welcome, everyone. I'm Eckhard Groll. I currently serve as the head of the School of Mechanical Engineering, which is a wonderful job. I truly enjoy my life in this role, something I always was after, and I have the great pleasure to actually being able to serve in this capacity, Purdue University, your alma mater. It's my distinct honor tonight to welcome all of you back to campus, to Purdue University for this very special occasion, which is always one of our favorite events of the year, right? The ME Award, the OME, Outstanding Mechanical Engineering Award. So on behalf of the faculty, staff, and students, it's really my great pleasure to welcome you back. I'd like to point out a few people that are in the audience that are really important to the school, because we're combining the Outstanding Mechanical Engineering Award with our Mechanical Engineering Advisory Council meeting. So that happened all day today. We had a lively discussion, lots of updates, and the consensus was the school is okay. Actually, the school is great. That's what I really wanted to hear. So if you are an ME Advisory Council member, please stand up and be recognized. We would greatly appreciate your service to the school. So it's always also a great tradition for us to invite former OMEs back to campus, and we have a few of those that like to come back and participate in the festivities. So if you are a past OME awardee, I'd like for you to stand up too. There we go. There we go. So it's great to see you and have you here. So what is an OME, you may ask? Right? The Outstanding Mechanical Engineer Award recognizes alumni who have demonstrated excellence in industry, academia, governmental service, or any other professional endeavors. And as you can read in the program, those include a lot of different professional endeavors. We have alumni who have achieved great things in the business world, in the engineering world, in academia and research, in government, and in national defense, and just about any other area you can think of. Our students often tell us, and you're probably well aware of that they choose ME because it enables them to do almost anything when they graduate. And I think tonight, gathering of our awardees is a living proof of that. So I'm very, very proud of you being here and the careers that you have pursued. So speaking of which, I want to quickly give you an update of your alma mater of the School of Mechanical Engineering here at Purdue University. You may have already known that you were part of an elite group of Purdue engineers, but our friends at US News and World Report have also confirmed it every year. For the 30th straight year, they have ranked our mechanical engineering program as one of the top 10 programs in the country. We're currently ranking our graduate program at number 8, but our undergraduate program actually at number 6. And if I can put a shout out for our online master's program. This program started being ranked just 4 years ago, so there was no ranking of a specific online MS program in mechanical engineering or any other discipline. But since US News and World Report started ranking it, we have been ranked now #1 in the nation for the online education that we deliver. So very proud of this score already. There are some other statistics I like to shout out to you or dump on you, or whichever word you like to prefer. But once I have this staged, right, we're academics, I need to talk at least a little bit, right? This year's class of mechanical engineering students, undergraduate students, is the largest that we welcomed. We had 2,009 students right now, undergraduate students. But on top of this, we have 1,024 graduate students. Now, I have to admit, 400 of those are in the online master's program that I mentioned, but 600 plus are on campus, right, doing research in various forms and fashions, except we also have a strong professional master's program, which is a course program only on campus. We're educating those over 3,000 students with currently 95 tenured or tenure track faculty, which again, all these numbers that I'm just reciting to you are all-time highs for us, right? Undergraduate students, graduate students, faculty. So it's a significant operation. But as you grow the program and as you hire faculty into the program and to educate the students that are coming to us, and we're in high demand on that, you're also growing the research enterprise, right? Because lots of our faculty want to be research active. Actually, ideally, all of our faculty are very research active. And so for the first time ever, we topped our research expenditures at just tick over $50 million in just the School of Mechanical Engineering. And to put that into perspective, the $50 million activity, this is the largest department/school at the Purdue campus, not just by total dollars, but also by dollars per faculty. So we have actually peers, I won't call them competitors, right, but peers that have more faculty, in particular, for example, ECE, right? We have 95, as I mentioned. They have 125, right? We're still beating them on research dollars per faculty. So we have a very strong position on campus. I go around and tell people we have also, we are the largest single major on campus. Actually, Arvin, who is in our audience, he will be recognized tonight. I didn't single him out specifically like as a special guest because he's an honorary, but he will correct me and says, well, not so much. It's computer science, actually, who has more students in the undergraduate program than ME. But fact is, we're talking about a 3-year program in ME, right? Computer science is a direct admit 4-year program. If we would do the math and count for those who are sitting in first year in engineering, we're #1 on campus in that category too. Another big update has to do with our mechanical engineering building itself. As some of you may know, maybe hopefully all of you know, our original ME building, which was built in 1929, right, and meant to hold just a handful of locomotive engineers, right, as we drove the locomotive in and worked on the chassis on the bottom and then the boiler on top. Well, that finally goes through a $25 million renovation project. We're really excited about it. We now want to educate, as I mentioned, over 2,000 students. We want to give them access to 3D printers, to all kinds of wonderful other experiential learning opportunities, right? So we're creating instructional labs, we're creating maker spaces. So it's just a great time. That's where we embark on a campaign to renovate the original ME building and transform it into the most comprehensive experiential learning environment in the world. That is our goal with this project, and I think we're well on path. So most of us had to move out this summer, including myself. I had to vacate my beautiful office, which if you've ever been into my original ME office, you will say, There's only one office on campus that may be better. That's the president's office. But had to vacate it. We moved out, and the building is closed, and construction has begun. At this point, it's just asbestos abatement. But very, very soon, within a week, 10 days or so, we do actually go into full construction mode, take some walls down, and creating the spaces that we're after. But this has been a little bit of a challenge, right, to keep us all united as a family, because we're now spread out in many different buildings around campus. But by summer of 25, so the renovation project is supposed to be done by spring break of 25, but in the middle of the semester, we're not moving instruction back into the building. It will take us a little bit, but by summer 25, we should be back in the building, fully open for instruction, for excitement by fall of 25, and I'm sure we'll keep you updated on that. So a little bit about our students. I would like to mention just as a couple examples of what they're doing. And I don't know, there's actually a slideshow that goes along with it. I don't know who's driving this, but I'm going a little bit off script, so they probably have a hard time keeping up. But there is a picture of Jonathan Hassler and Chris Gabehart, if you have that for me. That is like, this was a renovation project. If you go to the next one, yep, there we go. These are two classmates at Purdue ME in the early 2000s. And now both of them are NASCAR crew chiefs. And they're currently the number 2 and the number 3 teams in the NASCAR playoffs. So that's yet another example of the type of graduate we're producing here at Purdue. So now I hope that all of you follow NASCAR. So also take a look at the next photo. Let's see what that is. Right? Does that look familiar? At a glance, it looks like the world's largest drum of our Purdue band. Not so much. It's actually right now the world's smallest drum. And we are applying for a Guinness World Record book record of having the smallest drum. This is 3D printed by one of our faculty colleagues, Dave Capillari, who specializes in creating tiny robots. Right? He created robots that you can actually inject in the human body, that go through your human body and take measurements for medical treatment and otherwise, right? And so the diameter of this drum is 47 microns. That's about half the thickness of a human hair. So if you did the math on this, and it turns out that you could fit about 184 trillion of these drums into the world's largest drum that is going to be tomorrow at the football game. Now, I have to go off script here again because, and I'm sorry if I delay your dinner, right? But I'm sending out a monthly email newsletter to the ME community. Right? And to get very positive feedback, just give an update on what's happening this month or happened past months. And to be honest, Jared, who sits in the back and does the script, and he helps me with this, and he does a wonderful job. But this month, we sent out exactly what I just read to you. And then I get a ME faculty member writing back to me and challenges the number of 184 trillion. Because he did the math. And it was only XYZ billion, but not trillion. Turns out he took the diameter of the drum, where we thought we'd take the volume of the drum. Right, so we were both correct, but from now on, I want to make very clear the 184 trillion is by volume, not by diameter, right? So. So, anyway, so just a couple examples of the wonderful students we have, the wonderful faculty we have. I can spend a lot of time here to talk to you about this, but there are everyday new accomplishments from faculty, staff, and of course by alumni, and we're very proud of the alumni. And that's why we're here tonight, to celebrate our alumni and their accomplishments. We have 7 amazing alumni who will be honored tonight. So please enjoy your salad at this point, and in a minute, our service will be then provide dinner to you. And then when dinner is done, then we continue with the official program to honor our honorees and the recipients of the 2023 Outstanding Mechanical Engineering Awards. So thank you very much for being here. Have a great night.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted you to know, giving you 10 minutes, and then the program will start. So bathrooms are down that way, back in the hallway on the right. Please keep enjoying your food. Dessert will be coming. Flourless chocolate cake. Well, I didn't make it myself. But in about 10 minutes, we're going to start the program. So. All right, Eckhart is getting himself a chair for the front row seat for the circumstances here. Hi, everybody. My name is Jared Pike. I am the communications director for the School of Mechanical Engineering here at Purdue. Before we go any further, people are still in the bathroom. I just wanted to let you know that it's not just the 7 people who are receiving something tonight. Everybody here is a winner because we have the brand new 2024 Purdue ME calendar. With a very embarrassing picture of Eckhart on the front page that you'll read all about. Now, most alumni will get these in the mail. However, they are now available for you for the low, low price of free. So on your way out, the table where you got your name tag, there are calendars there for you. So please take as many as you want. These calendars right now exist nowhere else on earth other than this room and these people right here. This is a worldwide exclusive. I can't stress this enough, that it's you and you alone who have first dibs for the 2024 Purdue Around the World calendar. Every month is a different country of students traveling. So, did I sell that well enough? Okay, good. Well, as I said, my job as communications director is to find and celebrate the unique stories of our faculty, staff, and students, and alumni, obviously. As you can see, there won't be a shortage of this anytime soon. In fact, that photo of the 2 NASCAR crew chiefs, bring that up, that was my photo, and indeed my hat, because I forgot to bring a Purdue thing for them to hold. So here, take my hat. But here's the thing. One day I could be at Indianapolis Motor Speedway watching cars go fast, and the next day I could be discussing nanoscale heat transfer or watching other people discuss nanoscale heat transfer and it going over my head like this. So there's so much going on in mechanical engineering, so many different fields that I get whiplash trying to cover it all. There's just so much. And the difficult part is I'm not an engineer. I'm a communicator. So asking these genius 19-year-olds to explain their work to me is like a kindergartner asking his parents where babies come from. Could you spell it out again for me? Maybe a little slower this time? But anyway, that's why I love mechanical engineering. It's a new adventure every day. And tonight is no exception. We are here tonight to present the Outstanding Mechanical Engineer Awards, and from our 20,000 alumni around the world, pay honor to some of the most accomplished. Tonight, 7 of you join the ranks of the best, outstanding mechanical engineers. It's my privilege to introduce our recipients. I want to give some logistics. You can read the program, what order you're going to be announced in. Before you come up, please take your name tag off, because there's nothing dorkier than being in a family photo with name tags. So yeah, just before you come up, take your name tag off and come up and share some thoughts with us, a speech. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And then afterwards, Eckhart will present the award down here and pose for a photo with you, which again, are free. You can't get that anywhere else, folks, only here. So that's the logistics. We start with Norm Buano, who, as a senior vice president at Toyota Motor North America, is responsible for safety, environmental, facilities, internal logistics, and powertrain manufacturing and engineering. In other words, if you drive a Toyota, and statistics show that's 15% of you, then you have Norm to thank for your car lasting as long as it does. Ladies and gentlemen, an outstanding mechanical engineer, Norm Buano.
So I did prepare a few remarks. Jared, thanks a lot for the introduction. Dr. Grohl, thanks to you and Betsy and the entire team for putting this on. Very honored to be here. Also, I got to put a plug in since we saw the crew chief over here. That's Denny Hamlin's team. So if you're a NASCAR fan, we would appreciate the cheering. We need a little help as we kind of end the season this year. I'm very honored to be here and really to be recognized with the group of individuals that'll be up here with me tonight. It makes it extra special. And I got to tell you, it's very difficult for me to think about this kind of an award after graduating from Purdue 40 years ago. A young man coming from St. Louis as an 18-year-old, enrolling here at Purdue, and then eventually graduating. It's a little bit far-fetched to think that I would be right here tonight. At Toyota, where I've spent the past 26 years, we have two tenets of how we operate our company and what we really strive for, and it's respect for people and this idea of continuous improvement. And I think of continuous improvement in terms of continuous learning. And I was really taught that right here at Purdue University. And I was also taught about the foundations of engineering. And not only that, but how to apply those fundamentals into the real world. And it really helped me as I began my career. This foundation provided me the opportunity to really be a problem solver and eventually making a positive impact in many different roles that I had in our organization. Switching gears a bit, I had to go to the Memorial Union and kind of walk around a bit and on campus a little bit. And the thing that struck me the most, because it's changed a bit since I was there as an undergraduate, but the hallway is the same, and the stairs the same, the handrail is the same. But what I take away most from any of those graduates that preceded all of us here tonight is the reputation that they have earned for Purdue University. And I was a benefactor of that as a graduate going into the workplace, because I don't know, maybe people looked at me and I was an inch taller, or maybe I was a little bit smarter than I really was. But I got to tell you that I felt as an alum the importance of advancing that reputation and improving it even more for my entire career. And I did it just by your daily activity, one by one. I also want to step back and talk about the faculty. When I think about Purdue University today, over 50,000 students, when I was there, it was maybe 30-something, maybe 35 in 1983 when I graduated. I never felt like Purdue was a large campus. And that was because of the way I think the faculty took interest in me. At least that's what I thought. Professors were approachable. They really cared. I think you had to show initiative to actually go see one, and you weren't too nervous to say hello. But after that, what I took away were, insights, building my confidence as a student, and ultimately inspiring me a bit to be better and to challenge myself in ways I didn't really expect to be challenged. But I also wanted to give a shout out to a few of these professors. Professor Erzman, who was my controls professor. I was also a TA for that class. I loved it because I got paid for, doing homework and things like grading homework and different exams. But I just, and Dr. DeWitt, my heat and mass transfer prof, Professor McDonald, who was my, funny enough, electric vehicle research. We were doing things like golf carts, and today, I'm responsible for our battery plant in North Carolina, but who would ever imagine a mechanical engineer crossing over an electrical side a little bit. But, I just felt that Purdue had my back. Purdue really cared, and it made it an environment that allowed me to achieve. But I also had some great friends, and I'm going to give them a shout out because we're live streaming. Mark Carlson, good friend from San Luis Obispo out in California. Dan Inlow, who is in Huntington Beach, California. Also Matt Friege, who is in Seattle, Washington. These were the guys that were part of my study group. And we went through our undergrad together, helping each other learn, and I just appreciated everything they've done. And I got to say there were many other role models, people that I've worked with through the years that I just couldn't thank enough as mentors, other engineers, people that really cared and showed me the way in the business world a bit. And it's too timely to announce or to share all their names, but it's a big part of anybody receiving some kind of an acknowledgement like tonight. I've also been blessed with an incredible family, and then many of them are here today. My oldest son in Milwaukee could not make it down. He's actually working this weekend. But my daughter's up from Nashville, Tennessee, Anna. I appreciate that very much. And I think she's on vacation because her husband's watching the two kids, so she's going to extend a little bit, but I do appreciate that. And then I've got some other fellow Boilermakers here. My youngest son, Nicholas, and his wife, and also fellow Boilermaker, Danny. And then my nephew over here of the class of 2023. I'm so glad to see Ethan show up. He's working over at Quaker Oats, so he's employed. He's happy about that, and I can tell you his parents are even more happy. But we're glad to have you here, all of you. You know, the other thing I wanted to say was a shout out to my wife, Julie. She's been pretty incredible. We've been together now for 39 years. And you know, I think in any kind of relationship, when you're married to a person that travels and has a schedule like mine, it's incredible, the support. Julie was my advisor for all written communication during my undergraduate career because I wasn't good at that. I could do math, but I couldn't do that other stuff. And she was at University of Evansville, so I would have to either ask her to help or things like that. But I sure appreciated Julie. You've been a great coach and great supporter through all those years. And I wanted to use an example about how that really works. You know, when I was given an opportunity to consider grad school, and I ended up attending at Northwestern, we had 3 children under 5 at that time. And that's a big deal to be going to grad school all of a sudden. And Julie said to me very simply, she said, we'll make it. It'll work. We'll make it work. So thank you, Julie, for that. And I guess in closing, I'm finished now, so don't worry. I'd just like to say, you know, very clearly that I am very proud and very honored to be a mechanical engineer from Purdue University. Thank you.
Thank you, Norm. Next up is John Bernardin. Now, John's a pretty accomplished guy, but I like to think that I played at least a small role in his honor. Before I moved out of the ME building, like everybody else did, for the renovation, I noticed an old bulletin board with John's photo on it. But it wasn't this photo, it was this photo. And let's just leave it up there a little bit longer. Yeah, so every day I'd walk by and see this photo and think, I wonder whatever happened to that headbanger. Well, one day I actually asked, and it turns out he's been at Los Alamos National Laboratory for 27 years. And truly a jack of all trades, working on everything from nuclear energy to building cameras for 2 separate Mars rovers, both of which are still functioning and conducting science on the red planet to this day. He's an outstanding mechanical engineer, and he's your headbanger and mine. Ladies and gentlemen, John Bernardin.
Thank you, Jared, for that colorful introduction. Appreciate it. I am absolutely thrilled to be here, and I can't believe it. This is an absolute honor to me, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. I've got a few notes and a few thoughts I want to share with you tonight. And my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. I'm 56 years old, but fortunately we have good engineers out there that are designing little optical systems that I can plug onto my nose, and I can see my iPhone. So I'm going to reflect on a few things. First off, as I said, I'm absolutely humbled. I came here to Purdue for my master's degree and my PhD. I grew up in northern Wisconsin and out of family that was highly educated, but my grandparents went through the Depression. They were farmers, tradespeople, and it was really our generation that was experiencing education, advanced education. And so it was kind of introduced to me at a young age on the importance of education and where it could take you. And so when I came to Purdue and I came down here for an interview for graduate school, I was intimidated. I did my bachelor's at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, fine institution, 20-some thousand students, but we were concentrated on 3 blocks, big city blocks in Milwaukee. But coming down to Purdue, a land-grant college that was, everybody knew of Purdue. It was number 5, I think, in the country in mechanical engineering at the time, or maybe certainly in heat transfer, which was my love and my passion. And I came here and I'm walking on campus going to my interview and I'm like, my God, look at these buildings. There's one brick building after another. And then finding out, that the astronauts that had graced this place, and I was shaking. I really didn't feel that I belonged here. I wasn't worthy of this institution. And I interviewed with Professor Issam Mudawar, who's sitting in the front here with me, and it clicked immediately. I think I interviewed with about 5 staff at that point, and then were professors. They were all the authors of the textbooks. That was also the big influence, was walking down the hallway and seeing Increpera and DeWitt, the masters of heat transfer in my generation, Fox and McDonald, and Hoffman and numerical methods and compressible gas theory, and Raymond Visconti and radiation heat transfer, and it goes on and on and on. And those are just some of the names. When I saw them on the doors, I'm like, oh my God, it's like it's who's who, or it's the Hall of Fame. And so it was just extremely intimidating to walk those halls. But then, I thought back to my family, and my grandfather on my dad's side, he was a tinkerer. He was not an educated man, grew up in a poor family through the Depression, but he had motivation, he had drive. This was a man that, when I was a young child, we'd travel out to Lawrence, Massachusetts, where my father grew up. Would pack all of us in the station wagon. I was the youngest of 4 kids. We'd travel out to Massachusetts, and we'd visit with my grandfather. My grandmother had died at that point in my life, and my grandfather, he'd take me down to his basement and show me his machine shop that he had constructed himself. Some of it was human-powered. He would pedal a bike to polish and grind things. He had motors and pulleys running overhead, and it was a rat's nest. It was scary as hell, and you can imagine losing your fingers or getting your hair cut in a machine. But he was an absolute genius, and I like to think that his blood courses through my veins. This man developed his own telescopes, ground his own lenses, explored looking at the planets. The story that was told, my father, who I'm hoping is dialed in, is in his younger 90s, told me a story about my grandfather. He played with ham radios when he was young, and I don't know if he heard the original SOS of the Titanic, but he was one of the first on the East Coast to hear of its sinking. And he went on he served in World War I as a ham radio operator on ships, and this was just a gigantic man. He made his own furniture. He built a go-kart that I scared the hell out of my father by taking it out and driving it down one of the hills in Lawrence, Massachusetts. If you've ever been out to Lawrence, Massachusetts, it's hilly, and it's sort of like a mini San Francisco in its steepness of its hills. And I crashed it, and I hurt myself, and my dad still reminds me of that story today. But I thought back about that ingenuity and that fortitude that he brought, and it encouraged me in everything that I did. And I began to really grow. But I began to realize that as I was going through my education, and as I reflected back on tonight, that this award, what I've accomplished in my career now, I've been out of Purdue for about 27 years, there's a lot of people that helped me along the way. Certainly my parents, my brothers and sisters, all kinds of teachers from grade school and onward, and the faculty here at Purdue. My beloved advisor, Isam, has been my true champion and taught me so many things. My Lord, to grant me this capability, these gifts that I have. This award is lesser about me and more about them. I could never have accomplished any of this without them. And I am so grateful to stand here tonight and to receive this award. But it really isn't about me, it's about them. And I hope that I've honored everything that you've done for me and thought about encouraging me along the way. I'm absolutely appreciative of the life that I've been able to lead with the engineering challenges and the opportunities that I have. From working on major scientific facilities all around the country, designing water cooling systems and vacuum systems and learning different science and engineering. It's been a continued learning process. I didn't stop when I was at Purdue. It was learning all these new things, how to actually use these skills, this toolbox that I filled up over all these years in college, 10 years of college. But when I went out in the working world, it was learning all these other skills, how to interface with people, how to learn new computer programs and new software and how to run different machines. So it was a constant learning process. And as my partner Kim, who's sitting here at the table, she'll tell you my job doesn't end at 5 or 6 or 7 o'clock at night, or sometimes I'm coming home really late because I'm busy at work, and my brain doesn't stop ticking, and I geek out on engineering. We'll be on the airplane traveling out here, and I'm telling her about some sort of engineering thing that's going on in the world. Here's an engineering solution to our pollution problems in a major city. I've got an idea on how we transport people around in these little vehicles and da-da-da. And so it's that I think that's my grandfather speaking through me, that constant tinkering of ideas, and I love it. I absolutely enjoy and adore this field that I'm in and this profession that I have. I've worked on things that Jared mentioned, Mars rovers. I've got instruments that are circling the planet for national security that have my fingerprints on them. I've worked on quite large scientific facilities, new cutting-edge technologies. There's some patents that myself and colleagues have done. I could have never imagined it when I was a undergraduate or a graduate student. So that for the few students that are here at tonight or are watching online, you don't know what awaits you. It truly is. It's going to be a marvelous ride as an engineer. But all of this came about by opening my mind to the wonders of science and engineering, and to give me the ability to unlock science. It's suddenly not so scary. I've given talks before to different schools, and I find myself trying to explain what engineering is and the laws of nature, and how everything in the room can be described with electromagnetic wave theories about how our Bluetooth is working in our phones, and how the lights work in this room with electrons carrying current, and how the glasses on our tables are manufactured. It's all that curiosity, and suddenly you realize how the laws of nature all work together, and how you harness that and bring it to some purpose as an engineer. That's my challenge, is to harness those laws of nature and that understanding, and to bring it to something that we can use. But tonight, I've still got a ways to go in my career. I'm hoping about maybe another 8 to 10 years before I retire, and it won't be a full retirement, as Kim knows. But I need to carry these skills forward, and just I took the opportunity on this trip to come out here. I realized what a golden opportunity. It's been a while since I've been back at Purdue, probably about 15 years, and so I used the opportunity to do some recruiting and to talk with faculty, and we're establishing hopefully some collaborative research. Eckert and I are talking about maybe an idea for a student pipeline. So this was a wonderful opportunity for me to continue to utilize these skills and these gifts that I've been given to give something back to this university, to connect it with Los Alamos National Laboratory, where I am employed. And just a few final closing thoughts. I use this with the students that I talked with yesterday, and it was a quote from a great aeronautical engineer, Theodore von Karman, who was quoted as saying, and I don't have these words quite right, but he said, "Scientists study the world as it is. Engineers create the world that it's never been." And what he's getting at is engineering is a field of creativity. It's bringing together artwork, if you will, harnessing the laws of science and putting something together that people can use for the good of humanity. I love being part of that, and I am so grateful. And finally, I hope that my contributions that I've done over my career and that I will hopefully continue to do in some small way have and will continue to improve the comfort of living and the security of humankind. That will be my greatest testimony if I can somehow know that which I'm doing is helping others, because that's what it's all about. So I thank you. I'm absolutely honored to receive this award, and I praise Purdue wherever I go, and it's recognized. This is one of the finest institutions in the world for engineering, and I hope tomorrow we can stick it to Ohio State. It's supposed to rain, so let's hope for a good outcome. All right. Thank you.
Congratulations, John. All right, well, continuing on the space theme, our next recipient is one I was thrilled to meet, Jimmy Kenyon, who oversees one of the 10 NASA centers across the country, Glenn Research Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Glenn is basically a giant sandbox with toys that are found nowhere else on Earth, like the world's largest vacuum chamber, the world's largest zero-gravity drop shaft, hypersonic wind tunnels, 75,000-pound shakers, acoustic rooms big enough for a satellite, and on and on and on. Basically, if you want to put anything in space, you have to go through Jimmy. But beyond just being an engineer, he's also a manager with a staff of more than 3,200 people and an annual budget of about $900 million, so no pressure. He's an outstanding mechanical engineer. Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Kenyon.
I'd like to thank the Academy. You're a room full of engineers. You know that in public we all demur that statement, but in private we all fantasize about the ability to say that. And I just said that. Granted, the Academy is not here, but I would call this a reasonable engineering approximation, right? Wow, I'm humbled. I am humbled and I am honored. I look at the other awardees and I look at the prior awardees and I wonder what in the hell were you thinking when you asked me to come here? I am truly blessed. I am truly blessed to be here. I'm truly blessed to have an education from Purdue. And I look back, it was really remarkable coming on the campus here today. I'll admit it's the first time in 25 years I've been here, which is probably one of very few regrets I have in my life. I've had numerous meetings scheduled here and they've all somehow not worked out. But it won't be the last time for sure. But let me tell you what was remarkable here. Coming on the campus and seeing just how much has changed. It has changed incredibly and in incredibly wonderful ways. It's grown so much. But yet at the same time, it is still at its core the same Purdue that I graduated from 25 years ago. The same brick buildings, the same culture. And that culture is what is so incredible about this place. That can-do culture that is the hallmark of the engineer and is the hallmark of Purdue University. And you can feel it in everything. You can feel it when you interact with the students. I was wearing a NASA pin. We tend to do that because we do marketing. And I ran into a student, and he said, "I like your pen." And I said, "Oh, really? You like aerospace things?" He says, "Well, I'm an aerospace engineering major." I said, "Here you go." He's now the proud recipient. I have more, by the way. But it's a wonderful thing to think back at the career that I've had. And when you come onto the campus and you think back, the memories flood back. I took this class in that hall. I walked down here. This is where I used to go and do this and the other, going through the Memorial Union. Somebody talked about going through incredible. Just the memories come back, but that also gives you pause to reflect on the career that really started here. My first day of work in the federal government, my first duty station was Purdue University, West Lafayette, Indiana. I came in, I was very fortunate to come in through an Air Force program that was training people to become engineers, and they sent us to world-class graduate institutions for degrees, and I was blessed to have the opportunity to come here. So my first duty station was Purdue University. My service computation date, which is the day that they say you started the federal government, was the orientation day before we started the fall semester that fall. And that was because that's what I was doing. But then I think back about the career that I've had since then. I have had an opportunity to do things as an engineer that your average ordinary person just doesn't get to do. I have been upside down, supersonic, and I have pulled 9 Gs in an airplane. I have pushed the throttle on a jet engine and felt the vibration in the building. I have seen the launch of one of the last space shuttles, and just last year, I watched the launch of the first time we went back to the moon in 50 years. And my team that worked on putting it there was there. It's a funny thing, you have to wear the suit. You're on the console. The view was actually pretty awful because we were inside and we had a glass window. In Florida in the fall, your glass windows always tend to steam up at night. But I got to be on the headset and hear the launch director say, "Ladies and gentlemen, we are go for launch." And know that my team was there who had worked on the spacecraft that was about to go fly. And I got some pretty cool pics before anybody else did. It's a neat place to be, but that starts with having that opportunity. And that opportunity starts with things like an education from Purdue University. My whole life has been about public service. It's what gets me going in the morning. It's what I love to do. And I was able to do that with the culture and the spirit and the drive that came to me through Purdue University. It really transformed my life to think about all the changes. This is a transformational time in my life, but I would argue probably in a lot of students' lives. You're going from being a kid to an adult. I had finished my undergraduate someplace else, a little trade school on North Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia. I came up here and found just a remarkable culture that resonated with who I was. And to go through that life change, to really move away from home for the first time, to transition from being a student to being a professional, to learn how to solve real-world problems, the real-world problems we have in our real lives, but also real-world engineering problems. That's what we do here. That's what you do here at Purdue. And so being part of that has been an incredible experience. And when I look back upon that incredible journey I've had, a lot of that was prepared right here. And so I'm grateful to Purdue. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have been here. I'm grateful to the opportunity to have interacted with the faculty here. Dr. Sandy Fleeter was my advisor. He's not with us anymore, but Nicole has ably stepped in and continued the excellent research in gas turbine engines that very few institutions in the world are able to do. But they do it here at Purdue. And so I want to thank Purdue for this recognition. I want to thank Nicole. And of course, I want to thank my partner in crime, my beautiful bride, for sticking by me with all the craziness. The late nights, the many, many moves that we've done, and always being there to advise me and give me the thoughts and the way to kind of break a problem down. I can do the engineering side. The people side is harder. But one of the things that you'll find, and I think most of my colleagues here have found is that the people side is the most important. At the end of the day, what engineers do is we take science, we're not scientists, but we have to learn science, and we turn it into something that's useful. And it's useful for making lives better. That's what we do. And so to me, being an engineer is part and parcel of who I am. And again, that comes back to the culture that is Purdue. So I'm so grateful to be here. I thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be here. And I'm looking forward to many, many great things to come. Thanks.
Congratulations, Jimmy. Well, now for our next recipient, I have to admit, I had a hard time finding public information about him. And I think that's just the way he'd prefer it. John Pedini is one of those people whose work is equal parts unknown and confidential, and at the same time, absolutely vital to the country. When he started working on nuclear weapons, many of the original designers and engineers had retired, and fewer people were experts in that field. Since 1981, John himself has become that expert, the one that others now turn to for advice and guidance. His work at Los Alamos has undoubtedly led to increased safety and security of our nation, and for that, we thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, an outstanding mechanical engineer, John Pedini.
First of all, thank you all. I was not aware I was in for this. Apparently somebody circulated my CV, and the mechanical engineering department put in the nomination themselves, so very grateful and very surprised, but very grateful. I was told I had 2 to 4 minutes to comment. Less than 2, and they would bill me for dinner, and more than 4, they'd shoot me. So in any case, a few comments that I wanted to make. $9,900, that's what I spent out-of-state tuition, room and board to come to Purdue, get a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. This is before the advent of large-scale scholarships, so took 20-plus hours a semester, worked 3 jobs, got out without any debt. That was the best $9,900 I spent in my life. Second best decision that I made, the best decision is the instantiated spousal unit there. And the reason I refer to that is you don't marry a computer scientist. You instantiate a spousal unit. It's some Unix mumbo jumbo. Been with her since high school. And we both graduated early, got bored, left. I broke for Purdue. She broke for IU, and became basically the inspiration for a TV series called Breaking Bad. But she was loyal to Purdue. The national judo champion in the 172-pound weight class fought for IU. The sensei and the captain of the Purdue judo team was also in the 172-pound weight class. Never beat that guy. Forced him into overtime and double overtime, but I never beat him. And not quite sure why she married that loser. Instantiated that spousal unit. In any case, some comments on Purdue. This was the education that made me who I am. You talk to anybody in Washington, I am the nuclear expert for the country. And a couple things I learned, they're going to give you 3 examples. 1 student, me, 2 professors that I remember, J.G. Skistad, I don't believe he's with us anymore, and Anshel Schiff. 3 things. 1, don't shave points. Don't spin, don't sugarcoat it. Tell it straight up. You'll get to the solution a lot faster. 2, understand not only the explicit assumptions, but the implicit assumptions. Particularly you're dealing with very complicated things, thermonuclear warheads. I'm the youngest person left on the planet that's successfully done that. I'm about 10 years younger than anybody else. I got out quite young. But understand the implicit assumptions. And I'll give you an example of that. One of my projects, we'll just call it projects, because everything I do starts at top secret and then goes up. I needed to teach insensitive high explosive, which has 3.7 megajoules per kilogram, to detonate as fast as conventional high explosives, which has 5.5 megajoules per kilogram. Those of you who work in energy density know that's theoretically not possible, and that's what all the high explosive theoreticians told us. That's what all the simulation codes told us. So I didn't believe it was true. You can't break the laws of physics, you can exploit them. And so I got a young materials engineer, also from Purdue, Dr. Dan Hooks, and within a couple of months, we had the experiments to prove the theory was wrong. Now, it wasn't the theory was wrong. The problem was the implicit assumptions meant the theory didn't have the span of application that it was assumed they have. And by the way, apologies for the hat. I have vitreal attachments in both eyes, so I have trouble seeing things. Also, I have a high albedo forehead, and those lights will blind you when it reflects. And another example, you got to do the math, okay? If the math doesn't work, the problem doesn't work. And the first example I can give you is on the unclassified thing. Anybody here? You're probably too young. But about 30 years ago, there was this thing called cold fusion that kind of excited the world. If you read the paper, you realized it was pure, unadulterated, deliberate scientific fraud. But it had the world kind of excited for about 3 years because the theoretical nuclear physicists, they were correct. Quantum tunneling could not account for it, but the argument was, well, this is something new. This is something we don't understand yet. So you dig into the basic data. One of the things you found was they had to dry lab it, or conservation of momentum didn't work. One of the two. And it turns out after a few years, everybody realized they dry labbed it. If you want to know the details, it was a gamma absorption spectrum for a room temperature neutron. And if you think about fusion, that means that's the light particle. Well, the heavy particle has to be moving slower, so it had to be endothermic, not exothermic. Basic, very bad dry lab. And the other thing, being absolutely straight up, it can cause you problems, but it can also make you the expert. Particularly post 9/11, nobody believed what most of the people were saying about the nuclear threats to the country. I was the guy they went to. Almost all the material limits around the country, all the vulnerability analysis are what me and my team did. We're very much safer, but not infrequently I get a call from Washington said, your director said this, is he right? And of course you have to be somewhat circumspect just about saying, well, he doesn't really know what he's talking about. You have to figure out some polite way to say it, which I never did, and I ended up on the excrement list a couple of times. But in any case, what made me successful was what I learned at Purdue. What I learned at Purdue was not anything in particular, not some method, but how to behave, how to think, how to motivate people. They tell me I can't be a manager because people won't work for me, but every time I get a new project, I have scientists and engineers lined up around the block who want to join it because they know it's going to be fun, they know it's going to be something that's never been done before, and they know we're going to get it done. So again, I was very surprised and very grateful for the award. And I believe that's my 4 minutes, so I don't get shot and I don't have to pay for dinner.
What was that again, John? Gamma absorption of... I didn't get that gamma absorption of neutrons of something or other. I didn't get that part. Okay. Oh, gotcha. Room temperature neutron. That's where I got it wrong. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about it later. Okay. Up next, Laurent Pilon is a professor at UCLA, engaged in a wide range of interdisciplinary research projects at the intersection of applied optics, transport phenomena, materials, and interface science. He's also currently serving as program director at the Advanced Research Project Agency Energy, or ARPA-E, where his focus is on solar, thermal, and electrical energy storage. Since getting his PhD here at Purdue in 2002, he has authored more than 200 journal publications, filed 7 patents, advised 30 PhD students, 22 master's students, and 5 postdoctoral scholars. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the newest outstanding mechanical engineer, Laurent Pilon.
Thank you. So, thank you very much. Being recognized by the faculty of the School of Mechanical Engineering at Purdue as an outstanding alumnus is a great honor that touches me deeply. I did not expect it. And if you allow me, I'd like to explain briefly why. And by doing so, I would like to pass on the honor of this recognition to all first-generation college graduates and to their parents, their teachers, their professors who believed in them. Before I do that, I'd like to say that any accomplishment and recognitions, including this one, would not be possible without the support and love of my wife, Ellen, here, and our 2 children, Eloise and Elliot, who may be online, or I would prefer that if they are sleeping. They are the reason why I wake up and work hard every day, and having a happy and healthy family makes it all possible. When I decided to become an engineer, I was 15 years old, and it seemed like an impossible dream. My sister and I were raised in Brittany, France, by our mom. We were poor, and I had no example to follow. And as the saying goes, you can't be what you can't see. But school was easy, and I loved it. Throughout my education, I was fortunate to meet great teachers who inspired me and believed in me sometimes more than I believed in myself. In particular, I want to thank my PhD advisor, Professor Raymond Visconta, who passed away a few years ago, and he was a Purdue alum, an OEM, an immigrant, and a first-generation college graduate under extremely challenging circumstances caused by World War II. I was a lot luckier. I cannot thank him without thanking his wife, Barbara, who unfortunately could not join us tonight. By the time I graduated in 2002, Purdue had made me an American, but without a passport yet. Ray and Barbara were my American parents. I had a lot of brothers, academic brothers and sisters. Barbara and Ray had showed me how to be myself as an immigrant in America. Since leaving Purdue, I have been fortunate to work with graduate students, postdoc collaborators at UCLA and around the country and around the world. I thank all of them for their creativity, their hard work, and the exciting research projects we've worked on. They share the present recognition. I hope they know how much I believe in them. Purdue has changed my life. My degree did not take me to the moon, but it took me to places I could never dream of when I was 15 years old. For this, I'm forever grateful to the School of Mechanical Engineering, to all my amazing professors here, to my brilliant classmates, many of them from faraway places. I'm grateful to the people of Purdue for making my time here such an intellectually stimulating and empowering experience that still drives me today. I also want to thank wonderful friends that I made for life, Edie Cassel, Mathieu Kwame, Rafael Gomez from Indianapolis, Abidjan and Bogota, Colombia, and many others from all over the world for their friendship we owe to Purdue. I hope that Purdue and the School of Mechanical Engineering continue providing the same nurturing environment that I enjoyed and benefited from for many generations of Boilermakers to come. I also hope that the Purdue campus will remain the safe haven I experienced, where various ideas are shared and discussed, where disagreements remain civil, and where professors and students continue to trust each other and believe in each other. The world is facing major challenges with climate change and geopolitical instabilities. For all the challenges we face and those that are coming, the world will need many more mechanical engineers. and in particular Boilermakers, who have high standards for themselves and have learned to give the very best, like my fellow awardees tonight. Thank you for this recognition. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you, Laurent. Our next recipient is one of our own, and I have to be careful what I say about him because he is, in fact, my boss's boss's boss. But in truth, it's not difficult to find good things to say about our dean, Arvin Raman. He first came to us as a professor studying vibrations and nonlinear dynamics, but as dean, he brought a much broader vision, exploring how we could use engineering to improve the lives of people in low and middle income countries around the world. In 3 years, he helped to double the number of engineering students pursuing international experiences. He helped to co-found the Shaw Family Innovation Lab, named after another OME, Manu Shaw, which focuses specifically on engineering projects in the developing world. And we're thrilled that he is now setting the course for the entire College of Engineering at Purdue University. Ladies and gentlemen, one of our own, Arvin Raman.
Eckhart, let's try to do a bonus for Jared in the next round. He did a great job. Honestly, it's an amazing honor, of course, for me to be here. When I received this news, outstanding mechanical engineer, it happened to be a week, like some of you have, just too many emails. Hey, you won a jackpot. Or, those big envelopes that come in the mail. Open it to see your winning number, right? So I just didn't believe it, right? So I text Eckhart, I got something. Is this really true? Eckhart says, yes, congrats. I was like, okay, this is great. So, it was quite a great day when I went back and was with my wife and son and telling them about it. And, it made me reflect back upon when I was here as a master's student. I came to Purdue 32 years ago to do a master's degree here. I came from India, and I came here with a few $100s in my pocket, with no credit history, and few people that I knew at the time. And the money was not such a big deal, but it was interesting because this was a time when India was going through a currency crisis, so it was the most amount of money you were allowed to take out of the country. And by the way, it's the most my parents could afford, right? That's how it was. And I survived the first few months here thanks to Anil and Renu, who are sitting there, who helped a lot, my advisor Anil Bajaj and Patricia Davis. But thanks also to a loan that the International Students and Scholars program offered to students like me who did not have a credit history and therefore couldn't get a loan. And that was essential. I survived thanks to that and the Goodwill store, which was really helpful. And really, honestly, when I look back from that point, fast forward, I can't believe how fortunate I've been in my life. I just simply cannot. There are days I get up and go, is this real, Arvin? Looking back at those days. I finished a master's here in mechanical engineering. That paved the door for me, like for many other honorees today, to many other opportunities. For me, it was getting a PhD on the West Coast. I went to Germany for a postdoc, and I came to Purdue as a faculty member after, straight from Germany, matter of fact. 23 years as a faculty member, and today as Dean of Engineering of the largest engineering college that has ever been ranked in the top 4 in the country, where we are racing to become the most consequential engineering college in the nation by 2030. It's really an exciting time to be here, but like many of the honorees today, this is also an opportunity to come back to this special place for all of us. For many of you, it's coming back in space and time. you're coming back to a place which, the halls you used to wander, and your memories. For me, that's not the case. I walk through the same halls. I teach in the same classes sometimes, right? So it's just not the same thing. But it is a trip back for me in memory lane, in time. And I thought a little bit about those 2.5 years I spent here as a master's student and why they were essential to help me throughout my life journey. And, 3 things, really emerged from it. The first is this sense of home. When you come to a place, you need to find a sense of home. And this was really important for me. And for me, I found a sense of home in many ways. I felt at home at the Herrick Labs. Herrick Labs became home for me, so much so that I used to live in Hawkins Grad House at one point. I'd wake up in the morning, beeline to Herrick Labs, work there, go to Corec, back to Herrick Labs, have my rice-a-roni dinner, and then late at night, go back to Hawkins, right? This was life for me. And my friendships were all there in the Herrick Labs, right? I had Alex Kersey, Thierry Beauvelin, so many others, Bappa, Sarah McCabe, all these people were really incredible people. So the sense of home was important. So I found my sense of home in Herrick Labs, also in mechanical engineering, where the mechanics faculty are. That was very special to me. And in the squash courts in the Corec, I had a chance I used to play squash with Ray Cohen, actually. And it was a really memorable time. So the sense of home, I think, was really important, and it's something I've taken with me, tried to provide the same to my graduate students and to visitors who come from outside as well. It's very important for success. I think a second key thing I remember is, my God, it was tough here. I don't know about you all, but it was tough. And, I thought I came from a pretty good undergrad program in India. I got hit by the math like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I struggled. I was like, in my research, I'd never seen this kind of math in my life. And, Anil and Patricia were pretty comfortable with that kind of stuff. But I struggled. I really, really struggled. But I learned, and I learned how to do experiments together and stuff. But it was really, really tough. So I learned to become confident in things that are related to my discipline, and I owe it to that training that I got here, right? It was tough. The second thing I learned here was, I remember I took my first manuscript draft. You're a grad student, you got to publish these things, and you print something out, you go excitedly to your advisor and go, hey, look, I got a draft for you. So I give it to Patricia Davies, and, she returns it a week later. I swear to you, that manuscript was twice as heavy from when I sent it to her. It is all the red ink on it. The whole thing was written wrong, and she red inked the whole thing. And my goodness, what a learning lesson that was. So I learned how to write. Believe it or not, I learned how to write here. And those are skills that kind of helped me all the way through the rest of my life. And lastly, I think the third important point about being at Purdue are the mentoring relationships that developed here that have helped me throughout my life. Anil, Patricia, Chuck, and so many other, Chuck Krasgrill, so many other faculty members who stayed in touch with me when I did my PhD. Matter of fact, as I was doing my PhD thesis out at UC Berkeley, I remember I used to reach out to Anil and say, hey, how about this? How about that? In fact, I was actually following one of the works that he had done a long time ago with another PhD student, and that served as like one of the main references for my PhD thesis. And so I really value that sense of mentoring relationship, that it feeds forward in life for the rest of your life. You got people behind you that are helping you out for the rest of your life. So I think these are the 3 things that I really owe those 2.5 years that I spent here in this special place in Purdue Mechanical Engineering. And so I'm really grateful for that, and thank you for this honor, and congratulations to all the honorees today also. Thank you.
So what you're saying is the check is in the mail, right? Okay, good. Just check. All right, our final recipient is Jennifer Tucker. Jennifer has 25 years of experience in the aerospace industry, currently serving at Honeywell as Vice President of Engineering for the Aerospace Integrated Supply Chain. In addition to helping those amazing aircraft get off the ground, she also is passionate about helping the careers of others get off the ground, going out of her way to recruit and develop the next generation of talent in her industry. She's an outstanding mechanical engineer, ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Tucker.
Wow. This is a humbling experience to be the final speaker following so many amazing OME recipients. Truly, it's amazing to see the breadth of impact that the Purdue graduates have had in so many different industries. For me personally, working in industry, I haven't pulled 9Gs. I would vomit if I pulled 9Gs, to be clear, right? Nor am I a nuclear expert, although I did understand some of the words that you used in your presentation. I do have an organization of about 900 engineers today that support about 8 billion, 7 billion, who's counting, of hardware that we produce every day in the aerospace industry out of Honeywell that support commercial and defense and space products across the globe. And so it is a great honor to be here today. Like many of you, I'm very surprised by this honor, and it's a great privilege to be here. I think for me, I started my engineering journey, as many did, with a love of science and math in school. My father, who's here today, was an engineer, so I saw what that life looked like. My mother was passionate about supporting women pursuing careers in maybe non-traditional fields for women at the time. And so I came into this with a good support network, unlike some of the challenges that some of you encountered in your careers. Coming into Purdue, I will admit I was a little bit ungrateful. And I grew up in engineering. Purdue was in my backyard. Many of the people that I knew went to Purdue. And my 17-year-old self was super excited to do many things, like go to school out of state at some exciting university. But I'm good at math, and I'm logical, and I can see what in-state tuition looks like. And for a school like Purdue, there really was no other option. And so I came here. Some people will say that success is related to skill and hard work and luck. And for me, having Purdue in my backyard was luck. I mean, it was kind of dumb luck, really. And so I came to Purdue as an engineering student, really not understanding what I was getting. I'll be honest, I didn't understand at the time like I do now. I came into Purdue, I quickly joined the co-op rotation program, and I took a job at GE Aircraft Engines. At this point in time, I was majoring in materials engineering. And so I was assigned to a project where we were working thermal barrier coatings, and we used material buttons. They look like buttons. You coat them with ceramic, and then we cut them up, mount them, cut them, and you look at the grain structure of the thermal barrier coating, which tells you how it was processed, what type of coating it resulted in. And so my assignment was, here's your box of 500 or so buttons, and you have 4 months to cut them all up and characterize them in a spreadsheet. So I was at GE, and I was hanging out with a bunch of the other co-ops, and they were doing things like designing new turbo machinery and engine testing, and like I had a box of buttons. And I thought, this is maybe not what I want to do. And it's really astonishing to me that that industry partnership that Purdue has and that real tie to the engineering community and the business community and that partnership with companies like GE really changed the whole trajectory of my career. I came back to Purdue, I transferred into mechanical engineering, and I have never looked back. My time at Purdue was amazing. I got so many great experiences, and I went out into the workforce working for Allied Signal and then became Honeywell, predominantly in the aerospace industry my whole career. And it's really been a privilege carrying the engineering name forward. Leaving Indiana and moving to Arizona, which is where I currently live, I gained a whole different perspective. tell people, they would ask, where did you graduate? I went to Purdue. Whoa. Like, is that an Ivy League? I said, oh, well, you know. And, you know, it's so funny what you take for granted when you have something, you know, in your home state. And so the other thing that strikes me as working at a company like Honeywell and other places within the industry is how many Purdue graduates have really shine in industry. And I will tell you, at every level of leadership that I've been at, there has been another Purdue grad on the leadership team. At one point in time, I had 4 levels. I had 2 layers under me of Purdue grads, and I worked for a guy that graduated from Purdue. And you know, it's not because we all got hired, because we were just hiring from Purdue either. It really is a disproportionate presence of Purdue people coming out of this university and going into industry and being successful in an industrial environment. And I think it's that partnership and things like the co-op program and the industrial roundtables and the focus on the curriculum and getting that real experience from industry into the curriculum so that when people come out into the workforce, they have that knowledge. I'm the executive sponsor for our university recruiting and development program, and I can tell you I see a difference when I get recruits that have been coming out of Purdue and the performance and the results that they're able to deliver in the business. And so it's great to see. I will share, I had a totally different experience last spring when my son was graduating from high school and was looking to go to school in engineering. And so as a parent, I went around and toured engineering campuses and got a whole different perspective. And I will say it was amazing. We came to Purdue, and what stood out to me, in addition to all of the amazing improvements on the campus since I had been here, was the sense of community and the culture within the school. It felt like being part of something. And I think it's even more so today than when I was here. And even walking around the campus today, you'll see so many students are wearing Purdue shirts just to class. And it's an indication that they feel like they're part of a broader community and part of that broader university environment. Now, this was entirely his choice, but I am so thrilled to say that he's now here today with me as a freshman in engineering here at Purdue. So, and it's really a testament to the work of the university and the things that you have done. And so I will close out by saying that for me, you know, I appreciate all of the support that I've gotten in my life and my family. My husband Brad is here, my son Bryce, my daughter Julia have really supported me in this journey. And for me, one of the things that I hope to really benefit from in this award is not actually about me personally, but about an encounter that I had earlier today that's probably the best part of this event. I met with the Women in Mechanical Engineering organization, and I will say it was an amazing discussion. And I hope that having people like myself in positions like this, being put forward for awards like this, help set that goal for them and help that those individuals see that they are part of this amazing community. And I really hope that one of those women that I talked to today ends up here on this stage 25 years from now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jennifer. There's 3 more things that I need to cover logistically before Eckhart sends us off. One is parking. If you parked behind a gate in this lot here, they'll validate you here. So please do not pay to park here. You are our guests, so make sure you get validated if you haven't already. Second, to the 7 awardees, we not only are giving you an award and a calendar, we are also giving you the box that the award comes in, absolutely free. So make sure you get that box because it's a lot easier to put in your luggage. And third, did I mention we have calendars? Be sure you get those on your way out as well. All right, Eckhart. Why don't you send us off? Carefully.
I thought you would send us off. All right. Okay, what an evening. I would like to offer one last round of applause, or maybe one more round of applause for all of our 2023 outstanding mechanical engineers. It's truly inspiring to hear your stories and everything that you have accomplished in your life, in your professional lives, and what Purdue meant to you. It's very, very much appreciated. You set an example for Purdue MEs, what Purdue MEs are able to achieve, and you make us all want to push even farther to achieve even more. And with that, our program is concluded. I think Jared could have done this, but anyway. I wish you all a safe travel home, continuous success in everything that you do. And as we say at Purdue, boiler up, hammer down, hail Purdue. Good night.